Good morning, guys. Didn't get a chance to start the video before I left the house this morning, but it's about 8:30, 8:45 in the morning, and I'm heading into work. Didn't hear from my boss or anything, so I only have to assume that I need to go into the office this morning. Unfortunately, from the sound of things, Christina didn't get a whole lot of sleep last night. I didn't either, but I don't get a whole lot of sleep any night. But she says that Ellis decided at about 5 o'clock that he was going to get up and he was not going back to sleep. So that sucks. So I ended up jinxing myself last night. Fairly certain when I closed the vlog out last night that Ellis and Christina had gone to bed and that I was alone and I was planning to get some work done. I was planning to make at least 1 or 2 videos. Literally right after I hit the upload button, I got a message from Christina on Hangout saying that Ellis would not sleep and asking me to come get him. So we came back downstairs and hung out for like an hour and a half while I fought with him trying to get him to go back to sleep. So that was loads of fun. That also meant that by the time I got him to go to sleep, I came back downstairs. Okay, everything's uploading, everything looks good, but I was just so exhausted from fighting with him that it was just time to go ahead and finish up and go to bed. Now today is a new day, as it always is. We're actually supposed to be getting some snow this afternoon, strangely enough. It looks like it's been raining when I'm looking around right now. But from the weather forecast, this afternoon through tomorrow afternoon, we're supposed to get like 1 to 2 inches of snow, which I realize is not a lot of snow, but it's definitely some interesting weather changes because we've had an awful lot of like 55-degree days lately. 55 degrees being like, I don't know, 10 to 12 degrees Celsius. I'm doing calculations off my head and I really don't know. But I think the plan for today is I'm going into the office, obviously. I'm gonna go in and try to test out all of my Python encryption stuff. Gotta make sure it's all working appropriately. I set it up late last night to actually run tests overnight because it does take so long to do. I've actually got several packages coming in today and unfortunately it's starting to rain right now. Hopefully it does not rain at home because one of the packages is ridiculously big and I need it not to get wet. I ordered some new shelving for my garage. I haven't spent a whole lot of time showing you guys my garage at this point. When we bought the house, it came with this really, really big wooden shelving unit. And it's not exactly a wooden shelving unit, it's a total of 3 wooden shelves. One that's at chest height, one that's at maybe 7 feet, and one that's maybe 10 feet. So they are really, really high up there. Which means, yes, we can put some really tall things under them, but that also means there's only 3 shelves worth of space. And I found on Walmart.com a very reasonable price for some 5 shelf sets, which I've already got one of the shelf sets that in my garage absolutely loaded down with stuff. It's capable of holding like 4,000 pounds of stuff. So I ordered 2 of those and they'll be here today. The problem is they're 90 pounds a piece and they're gonna be sitting on my front porch, hopefully not out in the rain. But that means that at some point in the very near future, I have to take the car out of the garage, I have to completely empty out that shelving unit and somehow disassemble/destroy it. Probably disassemble it because like I said, it's built out of wood, it's very, very solid. It's made out of 2x4s, so I may be able to scavenge a lot of stuff out of that. My dad's constantly, every time he comes in and we start working on something, he's asking me, well, don't you have wood for that? Don't you have spare wood or scrap wood? No, normally I don't. I don't keep scrap wood laying around, but now we will have some laying around. And the more that I'm looking at this rain, the more it's really starting to look like snow flurries. It sounds like rain, it looks like rain, like seeing the actual droplets hitting. No, that's not rain. So I may not be in the office terribly long this morning. Anyway, hopefully I can get those shelves set up pretty quickly and pretty easily. That's one thing I'd really like to focus on over this winter/spring towards summer, is getting my garage in better shape. Because we actually did that last spring and summer, and we made some significant progress. There was a long time there where we could not park our cars in the garage at all. And we're not that kind of people. We like to be able to park at least 1 car in the garage. But because we did so much work on it last year, we can now park both of our cars, which this car that I'm driving is actually kind of a big one. We can park them both in the garage with no problems. Storing and labeling are key. Speaking of which, that's actually a review that I really need to make sure I do. Wow, this is looking more and more like snow. Anyway, sometime last year, I think, Epson sent me a label printer. They sent it to me under the premise that I was supposed to review it, and I just never did. They never asked about it again, so I just didn't bother. It's sitting on a shelf at home. It's actually in use. I use it semi-regularly. I actually use it a lot when it comes to the quadcopters because with those little quadcopters that I've got, every single transmitter, all the little nano transmitters specifically, look identical, especially the ones that are same color. White with black sticks, they all look the same. So I take that little label printer, Bluetooth connected to an app on my phone, and I can print out whatever label I want quickly and easily. And the labels have been really, really durable. I put one on Duncan's baseball bat for his t-ball season, I think last year. Not this previous season, but the year before that. How long have I had this printer and I haven't reviewed it yet? But it's an amazing little printer, and it's battery operated, plus AC adapter powered, so you you can be mobile with it or you cannot. I really need to review it. If I can find a link to it, I'll make sure to put it down in the description. I'm seriously tempted to go ahead and turn around. You guys can't really see it, but there is an awful lot of snow coming down very, very suddenly. And I'd really rather not get stuck out on the interstate trying to make my way home. And by the way, here's all the snow type stuff that I was driving into has let up a lot. At least the flakes seem to be smaller. It's still coming down, but it doesn't look quite as treacherous as it was. By the way, completely random topic change. For the grand majority of the money that I spend on Amazon, I have to be kind of accountable for it for tax purposes. But Christina had a return. She bought a baby nursing bag thing on Amazon, and we returned it for the full price, full refund, no questions asked. And I gave her a refund in cash so that she wouldn't have to worry about spending money on my Amazon account, because she has her own Amazon account and everything. And I did actually have some money laying around the house, just because when my parents give me money for Christmas or for my birthday or anything like that, I generally just stick it in the drawer as a sort of an emergency fund, just in case. So I paid her off, and like I said, I've got about $100 on Amazon right now. That's just play money. It's not for tech stuff. It's not for anything that's video related, so no camera gear, no lighting gear. It's literally just for fun. And so late last night, I started looking around on the Amazon deals of the day, and one of the deals of the day was on Zippo products. For many, many years now, I've been looking at Zippo lighters. Not that I'm a smoker, not that I have any reason to own a very nice lighter, but they had Zippo lighters that are regularly like 20 or 25 bucks, I think, for as low as $7.50 or $8. And so I started looking at that, I was like, hey, that's really cool. But then as I looked further through the Zippo products, they had what they called a hand warmer. And I looked at that and I'm like, wait, is this a lighter that you can warm your hands with? No. This is something that you fill it up with lighter fluid. It has a little catalyst on the top of it. You light the top of it with a lighter, and then it sort of burns, doesn't burn. A chemical reaction starts, and it goes for 6 to 12 hours, depending on how much fluid you put in it, which sounds amazing. It's a hand warmer. It's literally something you stick in your pocket, you keep on your person to keep you warm. And as a person that, ever since I lost the weight, I have been constantly cold, except when it's 105 degrees outside, that sounds amazing to me. Also, especially given that lately I've been taking Duncan into school at like 7:20 in the morning, and very soon we're gonna have mornings that are like 0 degrees or negative something degrees. So having something like that I can light up and have it go for 6 hours, keep me nice and warm all morning long, sounds pretty good to me. I did go ahead and pick that up, and I picked up a thing of lighter fluid, and I went ahead and picked up a Zippo, because like I said, I've been looking at Zippos for years and years now, and just haven't picked one up because I haven't really needed it. It's just something that I thought was kind of cool, and there is still the occasional need to be able to burn something, and while I could just buy a big lighter for a couple of dollars, having a Zippo that I paid less than 10 bucks for, because I think, like I said, it was about $7.50, that ain't bad. Yeah. I may not be here hugely long this morning. Look at the trees back there. Everything is just covered in snow already, and it just started. Well, that is certainly a relief. It apparently has warmed up quite a bit in the last, I don't know, 2 hours that I've been here, and the majority of the snow that was coming down is now coming down as rain. So while there is still a little bit of snow on the ground, there isn't any snow on the road. But as per usual, had a pretty good meeting with my boss this morning. Really short meeting. Basically just showed him the progress I've been making and how the stuff is actually working now. It's actually encrypting files and sending them up to Amazon. Coming to the realization that it's going to take a really long time to do this, because we're encrypting whole disk images, and these are things that are between 30 and hundreds of gigabytes, and when you say it's approximately 1 minute per gigabyte to encrypt, a 30 gig file, the minimum size 30 gig file, is going to take a half an hour to encrypt. And we're talking, let's say 5 servers that we're going to encrypt, and each one has maybe 2 disks that are 30 or 100 gigs. So that's immediately going to make it take a really long time. When you couple that with the fact that uploading it to Amazon, syncing it up to Amazon takes quite a long time, like takes maybe, I don't know, 14 to 15 hours. This has already become a full day process, like a 24-hour process. But he says he's okay with that, as long as he doesn't have to interact with it. Once he can hit the button, have it run all the processes for him, log everything out to a file, he'll be happy with it. And so that means I'm pretty close to being done. You know, I was just sitting here talking to myself about work stuff, and I realized I probably ought to just go ahead and turn on the camera. Many years ago, when I was making videos about Linux stuff, my #1 dream at the time was to have a day job where I got to work with Linux. As soon as I got a job where I got to work with Linux on a day-to-day basis, I kind of stopped using it at home. I still have a Linux server at home, but my desktops all went Windows. And that wasn't really for any other reason than just I was saddled up with it all day at work. I didn't want to come home and have to dig around in it as well. The reason I say that is I was sitting here thinking about how I do enjoy my job. I like what I do and I like who I work with, but it'd be really nice if I could just sit at home and get paid to do the videos that I do, as well as doing videos for another company. For a while there, I was actually thinking about reaching out to CNET, because CNET has an appliances place here in Louisville where they do testing on appliances, and they make really high quality videos about that. That's a place where I would just fit in beautifully, because smart connected appliances plus high quality video is where I am. At least it's where I could be. But that brings me back to what I was saying. That's why I started the story that way. When I started working with Linux, I stopped using it so much at home. I stopped having so much passion for it because it became a job. It became less fun. And thinking about it that way, I worry that I would actually become less interested in making videos if I took a job making video on the day-to-day basis. Now, you know, it would be nice to be able to do that kind of stuff, working for a company, creating videos for a company, but when it becomes a job and not a hobby that I get paid to do, that's when it would probably stop for me. But I guess that sort of begs the question. They say that if you love what you do for your job, you'll never work a day in your life. But what if the job that you do, doing the thing that you love, ruins the thing that you love for you? That's part of the reason why I started going back into jobs where I was doing programming. Because as far as programming is concerned, I'm not like hugely into it. I like doing little scripts here and there just for fun, but creating something and testing it, it's a really arduous process. It's really neat to be able to see the outcome of it, but it's arduous, it's time consuming, it's kind of painful, which is why in kind of a way it's nice to be able to do that as my day job, because it means that if it gets ruined for me, okay, fine. But as an example, my dad was a nurse for like 20 years, and now that he's not a nurse anymore, anytime we come to him with like medical conditions and stuff, if we start asking him problems about that, it's just like, oh, okay. And he kind of begrudgingly tries to help, but doesn't really go deep into it. My father-in-law, he's a mechanic. He's been doing mechanic work day in, day out forever. When we see him, if my wife asks him to do mechanic stuff to the car, he sort of begrudgingly does it, but he doesn't want to do it because he loves to do it anymore. He does it because it's a job. So that's the question I'm getting at. That's the sort of point that I'm getting at, that I've been going on forever about. When they say if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life, what if doing that job ruins it for you? And I've made it back home. It's actually, yeah, it's approaching 2 o'clock already. Got home, had some lunch, helped with the baby a little bit. USPS just showed up, so they dropped this box off. This is another package from Papago. I reviewed a dash cam for them not too long ago. This is another one, their brand new one they just released at CES. GoSafe 388 has a 1080p camera, 2-inch LCD screen. So actually in a lot of ways it looks like a step back from the one that I looked at before, because the one I looked at last time was like, it had a 21:9 aspect ratio with it was more than a 2K resolution, 2.7K or something like that. But they did say that this one has a Sony sensor in it, so I figured it was definitely worth a shot. And the main reason that I even bothered was my dad emailed me, what was it, like 4 days ago, and said something to the effect of, what do you think of this dash cam? And he was looking at one online that was like 20 bucks and it was really low resolution. Because apparently while they were out and about doing things, someone hit their car. They'd gone into a store or a restaurant or something, they came out and someone had hit their big monster land wagon of a vehicle, which absolutely sucks. And there's nothing they can really do about it. They just have to pay for it. So I told him, well, I do have the one dash cam here that you didn't take, because I gave him one already. I said, but do not pay $20 for that low-end piece of crap. I said, luckily the people from Papago reached out to me just a day or two ago and they've asked if I wanted to check this one out. So when it comes in, I'll do a quick comparison between the two and you can take the other one. So we will hook them up. That does mean my little pile of things to review is growing again though. This is another new quadcopter that came in through UPS earlier. It's up there. I've got the bright orange quadcopter there on the end. That's the waterproof, the H2O AVX. This is from the same company, GP Toys. It's the F2 AVX. So this is the one that sort of preceded that one. This I'm still working on. I think I mentioned it the other day. It's the X250. There's the R watch I didn't have a chance to look at, and now the dash cam. And more and more and more and always more. And I'm okay with that. So by the way, I went out to get Duncan off the bus just a few minutes ago, and while I was out there, it started just pouring down little teeny tiny snowflakes. It's not coming down really hard or anything, but they were coming in at this angle and we were walking at this angle, so it was like smacking us in the face the entire time we walked back. But yes, the snow was expected. It was supposed to start at like 3 or 4 o'clock. It's 3 o'clock right now, so yep, it's snowing. That's just wonderful. Duncan just came in here and handed me a little piece of paper, basically a form saying sometime near the end of the month or next month or something, there's one night where there's going to be a bunch of people that get together at his school to do what they're calling Ninja Warrior Night. Not sure if you're familiar with it or not. There's a TV show called Ninja Warrior. There's also an Americanized version called American Ninja Warrior, where you get people in a place, they have obstacles set up, and they have to make their way through that obstacle. This is probably going to be a kid-friendly version of that, where the parents have to help the kids do things, or the parents and the kids both have to complete the things. Maybe there's obstacles specifically for the kids, obstacles for the parents, I don't know. But Duncan has decided that he and I need to do this together, which means I got about a month to get in shape, to get in much better shape. So yeah, my whole idea that I needed to get on the bandwagon and fix this again means I really have to get on the bandwagon now. Fun times. I heard someone in here is giving a little baby lecture. Whoa. I'm amazed. Come on. That doesn't look like a happy discussion.
It's not.
You're not? What are you unhappy about? Oh, really?
I've been fussing all day.
Yeah. Do we need to go out and dance in the snow? Nope, I'll be quiet now. And it is time to head out. It's much later. It's 5 o'clock. Little man, he's got his little bear head on. He's ready to go. Because it's basketball time. Let's go. So it's kind of coming down. Yeah, this is just kind of crazy. It's coming down really hard out here. That was not a huge amount of fun. I couldn't even pull the camera out because I was holding the baby and dealing with the baby the majority of the time, but Duncan's game was just terrible. It speaks volumes to the fact that it's a community organization. It's not an official sanction type sport, because the coaches aren't really paying attention to what the kids are doing. So the kids on the other team, a couple of kids on our team too, when you're guarding a kid in basketball, you don't hit them, you don't grab them, you don't grab the ball. You put your hands up, and if you see the opportunity, you smack the ball away. You never reach in and grab the ball. And these kids were just like reaching around from behind and hugging these kids. There was one that grabbed one of our kids around the waist and hung from him. And the referee's just not paying attention, not calling anything. I'm not big into sports, but there are certain things like that that just make me... And the baby's starting to get fussy. I'm out here in the car because I was done. Once the game ended, the coach wanted everybody to go upstairs and around here and down there, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna go out to the car. I'll wait on you guys out there. I made it home, braving the elements, but we've made it. And we are having sandwiches, one of his favorites. We got the massive sandwich, you can eat every last bit of it. Whoa. And he had his bottle while we were there. We actually got him to stay awake for a little while, which is definitely a challenge. Look at how happy. He's just happy. He's in a good mood now. He's awake. Yeah, we're just hanging out. Yeah. But I got some bad news earlier, guys. I guess it's sort of bad news. I have been selected for jury duty. I've been selected for jury duty one time before, and luckily it was at a time when I was going off to college, so I was moving to a new area, so I was not going to be in the location they had selected me for jury duty in when they wanted me to be there, so I lucked out there. This is the second time I've been selected. Now I live in the place where they want me, and I'm gonna be here, and I have no excuse to get out of it. So I guess I'm gonna go in there and see what happens. It's gonna be around the end of the month as well, so that's gonna be loads of fun. I found out there's a whopping $12.50 a day stipend for being there. Whoa, yeah, he said whoa. Yeah, isn't that just amazing? So, not really looking forward to that, but we do what we have to. And it's 10:20 at night. Christina has headed up to bed. Duncan is long since in bed. And I'm dealing with little one, trying to get him to go to sleep. Hopefully I can get him to go to sleep here shortly, because I got a bunch of video stuff I need to do. And as expected, nothing else is getting done tonight. I got Ellis to go to sleep. We put him to bed. He apparently did nothing but spit up for the next half hour or 45 minutes, however long it was he was up there. Luckily, during that time I hadn't really dove too far into doing anything, or I would have had to just completely stop in the middle of it. But he and I are going to sit down here until he is firmly, completely asleep and not throwing up anymore. And then I'm going to try to head to bed. It is still before midnight, so I'm not breaking the rules. And that's going to wrap it up for me for today. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for spending the day listening to me ramble on and on and on. And we will see you again tomorrow. Bye.